Yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rock Talk. This is episode. Actually, don't even know what episode this is. I'm gonna have to look it up. This is episode 11. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brock Talk. As you can see, or maybe you're just listening, but I'm having some trouble with my webcam, and we'll get into that. But so I just chose this picture of me. I wanted to try to get the ball rolling and just do a nice, easy in and out episode of Brock Talk to kind of get us back into the rhythm of things. So today we're just going to talk about, I don't know, we're going to recap some stuff. I mean, we'll start with the camera. So yeah, and the previous episode of Brock Talk, I was having a lot of trouble with the camera, and many times I'll turn the camera on and it'll work for like a little bit, then it starts getting fuzzy, and then it just sometimes just won't work at all. So I literally like 5 minutes ago just ordered one. So whenever that one gets here, if we're still recording Brock Talks, hopefully I didn't just waste that money. I will use that, or maybe you guys can comment and you can be like, "Hey, I don't like seeing your face. Put a different picture on there," and I can be like, "Hey, okay." I mean, maybe you just like hearing the audio, which is fine too. But yeah, so here we go. We're gonna talk about some stuff that's happened on the channel recently. First off, yeah, okay, we had the Dear Esther video, and this one I recorded it in December of 2025. And yes, I'm very lazy. I put things off. I'm just not super great sometimes at being productive. So I recorded it in December, and I didn't get it out until I think January of 2026. Or maybe not, I don't know, not even. Let me see. I'm gonna check real quick. Oh, I didn't get out till February. Yeah. So part of the reason that happened was because one, I was like, does anybody really care about this? Like, I quite like Dear Esther, but it can be pretty dull. I don't know if the novelty of it is there, or if people really, had the experience that I would want. So I was, when I would be editing it, I'm like, this isn't a good video, but I'm also like, nobody really cares. So I tried to push myself to edit it, but I had I had a unique experience. Like, playing that game really took me back to like my life in 2011 or 2012, whenever the game came out. I actually think it was like more like 2010, whatever it was. I can't remember. But hearing the music and hearing the wind and the visuals, all of it, I was very just like taken, like I was like mentally I was transported right back to how my life was and the people I knew and how different things were, way different. That was almost like a completely different lifetime when that game came out. I can't imagine that it was like that was real. It's kind of like as corny as this or cheesy as this sounds, I love the references because I love it. It's like Photograph by Nickelback, and when he says like something along the lines of like, "Can you believe we were ever that young?" or something. I can't believe I'm forgetting the lyric to this thing I said I love it, but you guys, I think you get it. But yeah, so like even while playing the game, because when I was editing, I was like, I'm really quiet. I'm not really saying anything in this video, and I'm like, oh, that's because I'm hearing this music for the first time for a while and seeing this stuff and being mentally taken back to my life when the game came out, like I said. And then the same thing happened while editing. I was like, oh, I've missed some edits and I missed something I needed to cut, but I was so just like captured by what I was seeing and what I was experiencing. Yeah, again, that's kind of what a combination of those things of like, one, I was being lazy. First and foremost, I was being lazy. Two, I was just like having a little bit of an experience, I guess, or just having a moment. I'm having a bro moment. So I don't know if that transferred to the video at all, but maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, whatever. But there it is. It's kind of fun. It's been fun playing some of these games that I grew up watching on YouTube, and it's like, oh, now I'm finally doing this thing. Like now I've added my video or my video to this thing I've been watching for a while. So yeah, that was Dear Esther. That was the first walking simulator, I guess. And it was really fun. I actually went back and did the developer's commentary as well, and that was very fun. So except that, so the game ends. If you've watched the video, if you've seen Dear Esther, like the game ends on like that giant mountain. And I remember walking up this massive mountain and looking back over everything and being like, did I miss that speech bubble? I'm like, oh no, I got it. I go up, I finish the game. Sure enough, that was the speech bubble I missed. So later I restarted that chapter and walked up and got that speech bubble and got the achievement for getting all the speech bubbles. So that was fun. That was fun and good and stuff and all that. Next up, we had the interview with Corey. This was the previous episode of Brock Talk, him talking about his Batman fan film. This was good. I'm really thankful that Corey joined us, and it was a fun interview. This was really when I realized I was like, oh man, my camera is rough. That's why in that episode, a lot of times I just kind of edited over to Corey so that people didn't have to see the strange, things, the glitching happening with my camera. Hang on a second. It is hot. I don't know. Wherever you are, I hope it's nice and cool because it is hot. I am sweating. But yeah, so this was another one that I recorded it a while ago. Was lazy on putting it out, and I remember when I recorded, they didn't have a release date yet, and then they did have a release date, and I was like, oh geez, I still haven't even put that episode out. So I put that one out. That was fun. That was another weird one though too. Of like, I remember right before I was like sleeping. I was like sleeping 15 minutes before I got on that interview. So that was me just like freshly woken up. I think that was kind of like a pretty lazy day, I guess, and just didn't have the energy. But got a lot of positive feedback for that interview, where he was really kind, and that was a really fun one. It was fun to have a guest on. Hopeful to have more guests on the podcast in the future. What are we going to talk about? I don't know, but we'll figure it out, I guess. We're kind of just figuring this thing out as I go. One thing about Brock Talk is I've always felt like I need like a signature intro. So like there's been a couple different intros to the podcast. One of them, I always kind of I think is fun, but also is like, I don't know, there's one where I kind of did a parody of like Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue. Is it Motley Crue or Van Halen does Running with the Devil. Motley Crue does Shout at the Devil. One of the previous episodes I like did a small parody of that for the intro. That I literally just like put a blanket over my head. I had the microphone under the blanket and I just like spoke into it, and that was kind of fun. And then yeah, so I've done a few variations of that for the intro. The intro to the episode with Corey, is a song by the band Good Kid, which I was like, that came from the band posted on YouTube, or I'm sure they posted on every social media. I just saw it on YouTube, but the band posted that their music was just, I'm trying to think of the right word for it, like anybody could use it. There's no copyright, you don't need any permission, you can just use it. It can be anywhere. I was going to say free use, but that has a different meaning and I didn't want to say that, but I thought it was pretty funny, so I said it anyway. But yeah, anyone can just use the music. So I was like, oh really, let me give that a try. So I recorded the song with OBS and just put it for the intro. And I think it's fun. I didn't get any copyright strikes and I didn't get any messages, no cease and desist and whatnot and have you. So that was fun, and that's cool that they let people do that. But I've still been like, a part of me is like, I want something a little more original. So I don't know. Like sometimes it's fun. I think of like I'm a professional wrestling fan, so it's like sometimes, and this has been like a heavy debate with some friends of mine, but I remember being like, oh man, I thought it was really fun when like Friday Night SmackDown started off with Enemy by Green Day, or like talking about the different songs that the shows started with. So I was like, oh, I think it'd be fun to have like an actual song as the intro, but I also have because I really don't have any means to make a real song on my own. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I do, but I don't know how to do that. So, like I could learn, but hey, I'm just not feeling that right now. Okay, there's a lot going on. Okay, hold on a second, dude. But yeah, so that interview was fun. Got a lot of positive feedback. Got a lot of nice comments, and congratulations to them on getting their film out. And they've done some more, so please check that out if you are interested. What else? Okay, what else we got here? But then we had the last report. This was a fun one. This was just a game I randomly saw on Steam and gave it a try, and it was really cool. And I literally went in as blind as I could. That's another one where like my webcam wasn't working. Yeah, that was the last thing we've seen, and they've just did a huge. I don't know if it's like multiple people or if it's just one person, but there was a big update. There was like a really big update for last report somewhat recently. I've thought about like just like streaming it, But I guess the one thing I've realized about my channel, and I've said this a million times, but I have to say it again, just for my own sake, I guess. I don't know. It's like my channel's kind of like I'm kind of like a rebel without a cause. I'm a man without a country. Like I just have like a hodgepodge of stuff on here, and I like variety, and I like having a lot of different ideas and being unique. But I have been like, okay, I feel like I need to settle down and really get this really nailed down. What am I trying to do, and what do I want to accomplish? And again, I just like spreading good vibes. I just like the idea of somebody coming home and being like, oh, new Brock video. I can just like chill out for a bit, because that's what I like to do in high school, and to this day. It's like, oh man, like I can just chill and watch this video and maybe eat some food. And it's just tough now with there being like it's just, like the internet is just an endless wave of crap and garbage and videos, and it just never stops. And I heard an interesting thing on a podcast, how I don't even remember how they got to this topic or what it was. I think the podcast was called Varsity House. Somebody was like, do you think there's too many? They asked the host, or the host asked the person, whoever, somebody asked somebody a question, dude, that's how interviews work, brother. I don't know if the Hulk Hogan impression is still okay to do, dude, but I think it's kind of funny, brother. Anyway, somebody was asked, like, do you think there's too many podcasts in the world? And I think I've talked to people, and even me, I've been like, oh, this person has a podcast, and I kind of roll my eyes, or people are like, oh, of course this guy has a podcast, all this stuff. I think, and well, okay, well, so the person who was asked this question, they said no, because they were like, I don't think there's too many TV shows. I don't think there's too many people trying to make music. I don't think there's too many of this. So no, I don't think that there's too many podcasts. Sure, it can be oversaturated, but no, I don't. Maybe that goes against what I just said, but and I thought that was really interesting. This idea of like, yeah, there is a ton, but I think it's great to have it be so accessible for everybody. And I think like for music and shows and everything, like it's cool that it's so accessible for everybody. But then it also becomes like we're sifting through so much more trash now. And so it just seems like I'm making these videos, and it is like people were just watching videos for fun back in the day. Now it's like, and they still are, but now it's like, okay, how can I make myself worth picking in this Hunger Games battle royale, a gazillion people, right? So I don't know. I have some ideas, and I mean everybody has ideas. Everybody has this. Everybody has that, and I just keep putting it off. Just to be honest, so that's where we're at. Um, what was I about to say? Oh, a lot of times too, I have to show. I struggle with like sometimes I feel like I just have energy to wake up and go to work and then come home and then then I just get ready for the next day. With especially how tumultuous and not quite super steady things have been, not just in my life but in the world and politics and everything. So I get home and I'm just like, oh man, I don't have any room, or I don't have any time to make these videos and do this stuff. But then I'll play video games for however many hours, or I'll do a certain thing for how many hours, and I'm like, well, if I just switched video games or whatever it is I'm doing with YouTube stuff, I would have time, and or combine the two. So I feel that's been said before, but that's something going on in my brain right now and wanted to share. Hey, it's Brock Talk, baby. But yeah, we were talking about Last Report, and now I'm talking about just YouTube in general. Last Report was fun. I liked it. It did the job. I played the whole thing in one night, and I liked it. I hope you guys liked it too. If you did watch it, let me know if you did. So yeah, we're at 15 minutes now. I think that's gonna just wrap it up. Like I said, I thought it'd be nice to just let's do like a nice clean one, get back into it, just kind of get an update, a status quo. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Brock Talk. If you guys have any topics at all you want me to talk about, or just what's going on in your world, anything you want me to address, please let me know. But for right now, we're gonna sign off with this episode of Brock Talk, and I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully soon. Okay, everybody. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.